Most people believe that something outside of them needs to change before their life can change. They wait for more money, more time, more confidence, more motivation, or better circumstances. But what they don't realize is that the life they are living right now is not random. It is the logical result of a program that has been running inside them for years. This program is not visible. It doesn't announce itself. It feels normal. It feels like who you are. And that is exactly why it is so powerful. From the moment you wake up, your brain begins doing what it was trained to do. It scans memory. Not the future, not possibility, memory. It looks for familiar thoughts, familiar emotions, familiar problems. And the moment it finds them, it activates them automatically. This happens before you even get out of bed. The same worries, the same inner dialogue, the same emotional tone. And when you start your day thinking the same way, you begin feeling the same way. Those feelings then guide your behavior. Your behavior produces predictable results, and those results reinforce the identity you already believe in. This is not a lack of discipline. This is conditioning. Your brain is a biological machine designed to keep you safe, not to make you free. And safety, for the brain, means predictability. Even if predictability is painful, even if it keeps you stuck, even if it limits your potential, that is why people stay in situations they say they hate. That is why they repeat the same relationship patterns. That is why they struggle financially year after year. The known feels safer than the unknown. The familiar feels more comfortable than the possible. Over time, thoughts become automatic. Automatic thoughts create automatic emotions, and those emotions turn into a chemical environment inside the body. The body then becomes addicted to that environment. Stress becomes normal. Anxiety becomes familiar. Self-doubt feels like home. And once the body is addicted, change feels like a threat. This is why motivation fades. You may feel inspired for a moment, but inspiration lives in the mind. Identity lives in the body. And when the body does not agree with the future you want, it will always pull you back to the past you know. Most people are not living in the present. They are living in emotional memory. They are replaying the same internal states every day, and then wondering why nothing changes. The body becomes the mind becomes the future. And until this loop is interrupted, effort alone will never be enough. The moment you start seeing this mechanism, something important happens. You stop blaming yourself. You stop thinking you are broken. You stop thinking you are weak. You realize that what you have been calling your personality is actually a trained response. And anything that was trained can be retrained. But here is the part that changes everything. Awareness alone is not enough. You can understand this intellectually and still remain the same. Real change begins when you stop identifying with the thoughts that arise automatically. When you stop reacting emotionally to every internal signal. When you create a gap between what appears in the mind and what you choose to become. That gap is where freedom begins. Most people never create that gap. They react, they justify, they explain, they repeat, and the program continues running silently in the background, shaping their life day after day. This video is not here to motivate you. It is here to expose the invisible structure that has been controlling your decisions without your permission. Because the moment you truly see the program, you can no longer pretend it is you. And once it is no longer you, it no longer has power over you. If understanding the program were enough, most people would already be free. But awareness alone does not dissolve conditioning. That is because the real resistance to change does not come from the mind. It comes from the body. The body does not live in ideas. It lives in chemistry. Every emotion you feel creates a specific chemical signature inside you. Stress, fear, guilt, frustration, insecurity. All of them release substances that circulate through your nervous system. When those emotions are repeated for years, the body adapts. It learns that this internal environment is normal, familiar, safe. Over time, the body becomes dependent on that chemical state. And that is when identity is no longer psychological. It becomes biological. This is the part most people never realize. When you try to change your life, you are not just challenging habits, you are challenging your body's emotional addiction. And the moment that familiar chemistry begins to disappear, the body sends alarm signals to the brain. Discomfort, anxiety, restlessness, doubt. The mind then interprets those signals incorrectly. It thinks something is wrong. It thinks you are making a mistake. It thinks you should stop. So people quit. They return to old behaviors, old thoughts, old emotional reactions. Not because they failed, but because the body demanded its familiar dose. This is why people sabotage opportunities. This is why they return to relationships that hurt them. This is why they abandon goals just as things start to change. The unknown feels dangerous, not because it is bad, but because it is unfamiliar. Identity is nothing more than the emotional environment your body knows how to survive in. When someone says, "This is just who I am," what they are really saying is, "This is the chemical state my body is comfortable with." Change, then, requires emotional withdrawal, and withdrawal never feels good at first. The body will resist silence if it is addicted to stimulation. It will resist calm if it is addicted to stress. It will resist confidence if it is addicted to doubt. This resistance is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is proof that the program is being challenged. Most people misinterpret this phase. They believe discomfort means they are failing. In reality, discomfort means the old identity is losing control. The future version of you cannot be built with the emotional patterns of the past. A new life requires a new internal state, and that state must be practiced before the world reflects it back to you. This is the moment where most people turn back. And this is the moment where change actually begins. You were never meant to live on autopilot. From the moment you wake up, the world pulls your attention outward. Notifications, news, opinions, noise. And without realizing it, your mind stops being yours. It becomes a reaction machine, responding to whatever stimulus appears next. This is not accidental. A distracted mind is a programmable mind. And a programmable mind is easy to control. Most people think freedom is about money, location, or time. But real freedom starts much deeper. Freedom begins when you regain control over your inner dialogue. Because the voice you hear the most is the one shaping your identity, your confidence, your energy, and your future. Every repeated thought reinforces a neural pathway. Every emotional reaction strengthens a pattern. Over time, these patterns become automatic. You don't choose how you feel. You don't choose how you react. You simply repeat who you've been trained to be. This is why change feels so difficult for most people. They try to change results without changing identity. They try to force discipline without rewiring belief. They try to act confident while internally repeating doubt, fear, and self-judgment. Your subconscious does not respond to logic. It responds to repetition, emotion, and meaning. Whatever you repeatedly tell yourself with emotional intensity becomes accepted as truth. And once it becomes truth internally, your behavior aligns with it automatically. This is where most motivational content fails. It excites you for a moment, but it doesn't reprogram you. True transformation requires sustained exposure to a new internal narrative, a narrative that interrupts the old loop and installs a stronger one. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your self-image. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you will unconsciously recreate struggle. If you see yourself as someone who is disciplined, focused, and powerful, your actions will begin to match that identity without force. This is not about pretending. This is about training the mind through deliberate repetition. Just like the body adapts to repeated physical stress, the mind adapts to repeated internal commands. Silence is critical in this process. When you remove external noise, you begin to hear the programming that's been running in the background your entire life. And once you can hear it, you can change it. The future version of you is not created by luck. It is created by what you repeatedly think, say, and emotionally reinforce today. And the moment you take control of that process, everything begins to shift. The mind follows the strongest signal. Right now, there is a constant battle happening inside you between the old identity and the new one trying to emerge. The old identity is familiar. It feels safe because it's known. Even pain feels comfortable when it's predictable. The new identity feels uncertain, unfamiliar, and demanding. That's why most people sabotage their own growth right before a breakthrough. Your brain is designed to preserve the known, not to pursue potential. It interprets uncertainty as danger. This is why expansion feels uncomfortable. This is why discipline feels heavy at first. This is why consistency feels unnatural until it becomes identity. But here's the truth most people never hear. Discomfort is not a warning sign. It is a signal of rewiring. Every time you act against the old pattern, you create internal friction. That friction is not failure. It is evidence that the system is changing. The moment you stop interpreting discomfort as a problem, you stop quitting too early. Your environment plays a critical role in this process. What you listen to daily becomes the voice in your head. What you watch repeatedly becomes your mental reference point. Your standards are shaped by exposure, not intention. This is why you must be ruthless with inputs. Motivation is not found, it is built. And it is built by consistent exposure to messages that reinforce strength, focus, self-respect, and purpose. The mind learns by repetition, not by intensity alone. One powerful video will not change your life, but a powerful message repeated daily will alter your identity at the deepest level. You are not weak for struggling. You are untrained, and training requires structure, patience, and repetition. The version of you that feels unstoppable already exists as potential. But potential without conditioning remains dormant. You must rehearse the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of that version until they feel natural. This is why inner work precedes outer results. When the internal structure changes, external reality follows with precision. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a byproduct of action. Confidence is not built before movement. It is built through movement. When you commit to this process, something powerful happens. The noise loses influence. Distractions lose grip. You stop negotiating with weakness, and momentum begins to compound. This is not motivation. This is conditioning. And once conditioning is complete, discipline becomes effortless, focus becomes natural, and progress becomes inevitable. This is the moment where most people stop. Not because they can't continue, but because continuing would require responsibility. Responsibility for their thoughts, responsibility for their habits, responsibility for the future they are unconsciously creating every single day. Awareness changes everything. Once you see the pattern, you can no longer pretend it isn't there. Once you understand how the mind is shaped, distraction becomes a choice, not an accident. Weakness becomes a pattern, not an identity. From this point forward, every thought you repeat is a vote for the person you are becoming. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. You need daily alignment between who you say you want to be and what you mentally rehearse. The strongest people are not the most aggressive. They are the most intentional. They choose what they feed their mind. They choose what they tolerate. They choose what they repeat internally. This is where power actually lives. Not in motivation spikes, not in emotional highs, but in quiet, repeated self-command. If you listen to this kind of message regularly, something subtle but unstoppable happens. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for excuses drops. Your sense of identity begins to solidify. And one day, without drama, without announcement, you realize you no longer think the way you used to. You no longer react the way you used to. You no longer live the way you used to. That is transformation. Stay in the process. Stay disciplined with your inputs. Stay loyal to the version of you that is being built. Everything else will follow.